Classical Indian philosophy, Nyaya, Epistemology, Perception. Perception or Pratyaksha. According to Nyaya, perception or Pratyaksha is considered to be the first source of knowledge or pramana. Perception is a definite or true cognition of objects produced by sense-object contact. For example, the perception of the blue book in front of me is possible due to the contact that occurs between my eyes and the object, that is, the blue book. According to Gautama, perception means non-erroneous cognition which is produced by the intercourse of the sense organs with the object. Perception deals with 5 external sense organs, namely the sense of sight, chakshu, the sense of smell, grihana, the sense of sound, shrota, the sense of touch, tvak, and the sense of taste, rasna. These 5 external sense organs respectively perceive the physical qualities of color, smell, sound, touch, and taste in the objects. Classification of perception. Nyaya school of Indian philosophy distinguishes between Laukika and Alaukika perception. These two are also known as ordinary and extraordinary perceptions. According to Nyayikas, the distinction between these two depends upon the manner in which the senses come in contact with the objects. In the case of Laukika, that is, ordinary perception, there is the usual sense-object contact, whereas in the case of alaukika or extraordinary perception, the object is not ordinarily presented to the sense organ. In other words, the object is perceived by the sense organ through an unusual medium. The ordinary or the Laukika perception is of two kinds. Number 1, internal perception or manasa. Number 2, external perception or bahaya. In the former, mind comes in contact with the psychological states and processes like affection, cognition, desire, pleasure, pain, etc. External perception or the latter perception takes place with the help of 5 external sense organs, namely the sense of sight, touch, sound, smell, and taste, when they come in contact with the object. These 5 external sense organs are composed of the Panchabhutas or the 5 elements, namely fire, air, water, ether, and earth. There are 6 different kinds of Laukika or ordinary perceptions. They are number 1, visual perception, number 2, auditory perception, number 3, tactile perception, number 4, gustatory perception, number 5, olfactory perception, number 6, internal perception or mental perception. On the other hand, there are 3 kinds of alaukika or extraordinary perceptions. They are number 1, Samanyalakshana, number 2, Jnanalakshana, number 3, Yogaja. Number 1, Samanyalakshana Perception. According to Nyaya, Samanyalakshana Perception is also called the perception of the classes. It includes the concept of universals. According to Nyaya, universals are regarded as a distinct class of reals and they inhere in the particulars. For example, the concept of cowness, universal concept of cowness inheres in all the particular cows. The perception of cowness is possible due to Samanyalakshana perception. In other words, universals are perceived extraordinarily. Number 2, Jnanalakshana Perception. That is, the perception is also called as complicated perception through association. In the case of Jnanalakshana perception, the object is not directly presented to the sense organs, but it is revived in memory due to the past cognitions of the object, and it is perceived through representation. For example, sandalwood looks fragrant, or ice looks cold, or stone looks hard, etc. This is primarily based on our memory, due to which it is also known as perception through representation. Number 3 is Yogaja Perception. This is intuitive and immediate perception of all the objects of the past, present, and the future. This form of perception is only possessed by the yogis or the liberated souls through the power of meditation. Hence, it is suprasensuous and supra-relational in nature. In other words, perception according to Nyaya is divided into two parts, that is, ordinary or Laukika perception and Alaukika or extraordinary perception. The Laukika perception is further divided into two parts, that is, internal or Manasa perception and external or Bahaya perception. Both internal and external perceptions are together of 6 kinds. On the other hand, a Laukika perception is of 3 different types. It deals with Samanyalakshana Perception, Jnanalakshana Perception, and Yogaja. Questions. Number 1. Manasa and Bhaya are 2 kinds of A. Laukika perception, B. Alaukika perception, C. Perception, D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Question 2. Dash perception is intuitive and is immediate perception of all the objects of the past, present, and the future. A. Yogaja, B. Manasa, C. Both A and B, D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Yogaja. Question 3. Sandalwood looks fragrant is an example of A. Jnanalakshana Perception, B. Yogaja Perception, C. Samanyalakshana Perception, D. None of these. The correct answer is A. Jnanalakshana Perception. Question 4. There are dash kinds of Laukika or ordinary perception. A5, B6, C2, D3. The correct answer is B, that is 6.